But you're right.
Okay. We're going to start. We were just waiting for some other counselors, but we do have quorum. And before we begin, we would like to acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on traditional and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And tonight's public meeting is to hear comments, questions, or concerns on the following application, Law 39 Oak Drive, Sonia Kamal, is it? Okay. And the presenter is J.P. Robinson. Is that correct? Or you? Yeah. And so we're glad to be back in person's meetings at this time. Residents still have the option to participate via video conference. That is WebEx if they prefer. And of course, the video link is charlottetown.ca/video. So here on the front, we have Councillor Matart. To my right, to your left, Councillor Beck, who's also a member of the Planning Board, Heritage Board, Design Review Board. Councillor Ramsey, to my right, to your left. To my left and to your right is Deputy Mayor Yankoff and Councillor Julie McCabe. And Philip, is Councillor Duran on the phone? Councillor Duran, can you hear me?
I can, Mayor Brown.
Okay. So Councillors Tweel, I have not heard from. I know Councillor Bernard couldn't make it tonight because he's at a kids sport function. I have also Councillor John McAleer. I didn't contact him, so he may be coming later. And we do have two planning board members, Mr. Paul Conley and Rosemary Herbert, or as I call Rosemary Hebert. As you look at I'm going to call on the Deputy Mayor to briefly go over the order of events. Deputy Mayor Yankoff.
Thank you, Your Worship. Welcome, everybody, tonight's meeting. So just to quickly go over the process, there'll be a brief presentation by staff and the applicants. After the presentation, then the folks here that are here or anyone that's called in will be given an opportunity to speak. Each participant has 5 minutes to speak, and other than that, we'll ask the planner to come up and begin the presentation, unless his worship has.
Oh, we just have to.
Nope.
This is a public meeting, so we have to do a call to order. Forgot to mention our acting CAO, Sue Fraser, is in the audience, so she's taken control of the ship while our CAO is on an international planning conference. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Councillor Drawn, any conflict of interest?
No, I don't, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So on the agenda is only one item. I need someone to move Councillor Ramsey, second by Councillor Matart. All those in favor? Okay. So I'll call on Sonia, correct? Thank you.
Good evening, Your Lordship, members of council, ladies and gentlemen on the public. This is a request to amend Appendix G zoning map of the zoning and development bylaw from single detached residential R1L to low density residential R2 for construction of a duplex dwelling. Lot 39 Oak Drive is a corner lot which is currently vacant. The total property is approximately 741.5 square meter site with frontage of approximately 24.93 meters along Oak Drive on the northern boundary. The depth is about 29 meters. In the surrounding area, we have a mixture of R2 to the north, east, and south, and R1L to the northwest and immediately on the west. Along with those zones, we have a mix of single detached dwellings with some 2-unit dwellings throughout that. In accordance with zoning and development bylaw, City Council approved the request to proceed to public consultation on October 10. On October 23rd, written notification was sent to property owners located within 100 meters of the subject property. Total 40 letters were sent to residents advising them to this public meeting and requested their written comments. To date, 1 letter of concern and 1 letter of objection have been received in response to previous circulation. The public meeting was previously scheduled for September 6. However, the Planning and Heritage Department removed this item from the scheduled public meeting due to the incorrect PID number, and a letter was sent to the property owner on September 5th in this regard. If there is any question, I can answer, or I would also like to turn this presentation to the applicant, John Patrick Robinson, and may prefer to hold any questions until both John and I are finished.
You want to, John, you go over here to the meeting? You can go there, please. Just state your name, John, please, and where you live. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is John Patrick Robinson. I go by JP. I live on North River Road right now. I've lived in Sherwood probably 3/4 of my life. Through junior high, my parents moved there. I lived on Robin Avenue, lived there probably for about 5 years. I used to walk through Barber Circle, through the mud from Stone Park to home. And I've been in real estate now for 20 years, new construction for about 15. Ann Barber, the last 5 lots she had for sale, I purchased those. At the time, my wife didn't agree with me. She thought it was a bad move, but I moved forward with it. And I built 2 single-family homes on 2 of the properties, sold those, and one of them I had rezoned to a duplex that I'll probably start some other time. And then this one here that was on the corner. It took a little work to close that one, and with the housing crisis that we're in now, I wasn't going to live in this next property. So the best use for this land was an R2, in my opinion. So I hired a plans person, and then I also hired a surveyor. And I had the surveyor put a plot plan to give me the best use for the land, and then a draftsman to draw me a plan that would be best suited for that as well, to allow at least 1,000 square feet per unit. And that's what they come up with. I guess the plan, I didn't know I was doing this part. Okay. So you can see the plan in yellow. That was the very first part that we did, was the plot. And ISE were hired for that. And this meets all of the restrictions in place for side, back, front, the sewer easement that are there. And then the driveways also meet the restrictions for the corner. From the middle of the corner, per driveway, you have to be 50 feet from the center. I believe the driveways are probably closer to 70 to 80. The variances in the back meets those as well. It meets everything. Let's go to the next slide here. Yeah, so the plan was to keep at least 1,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, living area. We did go with the 2-story. I know there was some questions that came up that it wasn't in the same style tradition as the homes, kind of the left of them, being that they're rancher bungalows. There is a rancher bungalow behind it, but then in front of that is a 2-story duplex. Behind that one's another two-story duplex. Across the street from those are 2 stories. Within 100 feet of that lot, there is 2-story duplexes. I guess that's it. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, is that it? Okay. I know the lot was vacant for a long time. It was treed. The trees were high. I had that cleared first just so I could see what was there before we move forward with the planning process of it. In my opinion, this is the best use of that land. If you could fit a triplex on it, the triplex would be the best use of the land. I feel in the current state that we're in, the more families we can get into the area, the better it's going to be. This is my first time doing this as well, the presentation. Do I stay up here to answer questions or do other people?
If you wish to, you can stay there and. sit
Yeah,
down.
yeah, sure. If there is any questions, concerns, I live in the area. I still own land in the area. My kids went to Sherwood School. We don't right now, but I know a lot of people in the area. And I want to build the best spot that's there. I don't want to do anything negative to the area. I want to enhance it. So if there is any questions, concerns, please go up to the mic if you have anything. I can try to answer the best I can.
Okay. So when you do approach the mic, did you give your name and
Okay.
where you live and. that's it.
My name is Debbie McCrae and I live at 120 Oak, which is just down the street from this. And one of the major concerns that the residents have is there's a major drainage pipe that goes behind the Barber Circle lots, right up 4 or 5 houses, because when the city approved the Barber subdivision many years ago, the lots behind are 8 feet higher than ours. So everyone knows the water runs downhill except for the city engineer who told us the water would run forward up the hill to Barber Circle. We were all having flooded basements every time, every spring. So after many meetings with complaints with the city came along one day and put in a drainage pipe. It's a great big black pipe. At the back of everybody's corner is a big metal grate that's supposed to gather all the water from those Barber Circle houses. The city never got easements registered. Some people didn't even know they were putting it in till the backyards were gone. And we have major concerns of the house being so close to the back line that something's going to happen or that pipe is going to be dug up and we are going to be getting flooded out again. Now, Mr. Robinson's deed, the back line, is referred to on a 2004 plan, but that plan had been superseded by the city on several occasions after that. So did your surveyor bring that up
Yes.
with you?
Yeah, if you'd like me to answer that one first. Yes, my surveyor actually was the one that picked that up.
Okay.
And that plot plan is done by the correct numbers. And whenever I was aware of that, that was also given to my lawyer at that time to amend the deed to the correct one.
And your deed also has a reference to Schedule B restrictive covenants, but they're not in your deed. So we have no idea whether there was a covenant that you're not allowed to dig that up or what there was because it wasn't in your deed.
I don't understand the question. Are you asking like if I
In your-
understand?
In your deed,
Okay,
it says that the land is subject to the covenant set out in Schedule B. But there's no Schedule B in your deed, so we don't know what was supposed to be in it. You'd have to talk to your lawyer.
who's
about
we, okay, well,
it. Anyway,
okay, no, and
so that's our major concern is
okay.
4 or 5 houses that don't want to get flooded.
No, and I totally understand that. I was not aware that there was.
Well, that's, the
That
thing.
was-
If you didn't live there 30 years ago or whenever
No.
it went in, because the city has never registered anything,
Yeah,
people in behind buy a house, there's nothing at the registry office registered indicating that they have a pipe in their backyard unless they happen to go down and ask, why is there a metal grate in their backyard?
Now, the
And
plan,
we've never seen a survey plan. We presume they're all on Barber Circle lots, but we don't know that because
the plot
never
plan
seen-
that was provided to me from ISE, the
So-
back of the house is 24 feet from the back line. In my perspective, water does run downhill. I am the lowest lot there.
right.
If I damage that, then I would be the one that's flooded. It's in my best interest to stay away from that pipe as well. Because everybody's water, if that pipe was damaged, your water would still run down to my lot. That I would 100% be staying away from that.
Right. It's not shown on the plan there that your surveyor did as to where the location of the pipe is. He didn't show it on the plan? Survey-
Sonia, can you provide some clarification on the discussion going back and forth here? Please, John, just let,
Yeah.
I think if you go back to where the sanitary
Yeah.
easement.
Like,
the-
there's nothing showing there on either his lot or the lot in behind as to where that pipe is.
What's that?
It's not shown. The drainage pipe is not shown on that plan?
No, that's the sanitary easement.
No,
No,
there's
that's-
another one.
Okay,
Just,
Sorry.
yeah, John, just let,
go back.
It's
Yeah.
on his back. It runs from
Like this.
Oak Drive past 4 or 5 properties, right? And it drains out on the Oak Drive extension.
Okay.
And it drains all the water from those backyards down there.
And for what I visualize, it is right back here. So what I was saying is 24 feet, from here to there, that I would not, even when we're digging a hole, we don't go past 6 feet of the footings. So this would be the maximum space that I would be disrupting would be there. And as I was saying that, all the water's coming down here to this lot, it's coming out here. That if we did ever do anything to here, which we're not even close to, if that was it, the water would still come down, it'd be pooling in this spot, it wouldn't stop. But that is not my interest, is to do anything.
No.
yeah, John, when you do speak, you have to use the mic because
Sorry.
it's being recorded.
Yeah, it's in my best interest as well, to not damage or to stay away from that easement.
John, can you just repeat, just without going? there?
Yep, no
So
problem.
What did you say with the?
From what I visualize as well is that I agree that it is on the back end of the property.
Mhm.
The footings on this, on the 2 unit here, it's 24 feet from the back line. When we're digging the hole for this, it would be a maximum of 6 feet that we dig past that to have some extra room in there to do the actual work. And then we cover it back up. We don't disrupt it after that point.
Okay, you're going to build this and you'll probably sell it to somebody. If there's no written documentation at the registry office showing where that pipe is, Joe Blow could buy it from you and he'd say, I want to extend into my backyard, so I'm going to dig up the pipe. There's no requirement for whoever has that property to keep the pipe the way it is.
Yeah. So, John,
Yeah.
so we will have to, I don't know, David Gundrum is our manager of planning. And then there's Donna Miller-Ayton, who's manager of policy and heritage. So where you're looking for is that the drawings reflect where the stormwater management pipe is, correct?
At least.
Yeah.
But there should be some condition or restriction that whoever owns the property with the pipe on it is not allowed to dig it up and
Yeah.
disrupt it.
Sonia, can you address that?
We can provide a conditional approval that the applicant can submit a revised drawing showing the stormwater pipe, and then we can provide the approval.
Yeah.
So what is going to stop the next owner of the property from knowing that it's there and being required to maintain it? Or,
Because deeds would be registered with the deeds.
well, his deed's already registered.
Yep, then he has to re-register. He'll have to go back and redo it. That's what
As
you're,
long as there's
that's what you're
something,
suggesting.
there's got to be something registered,
Yep.
whether it be an easement or in his deed that
Yep.
indicates that it's there and whoever owns it is required to leave it there and not disrupt it.
Okay, So what does that do to the Sonia, what does that do to the application process here tonight?
We can provide condition that the applicant should submit a revised drawing and also the revised easement where
Stormwater
with,
management
with
or stormwater
stormwater pipe, yeah.
and registered with the deeds department.
Yeah, as long as it's something that's at the registry, because right now, everybody who has that, there's no public record.
That's a good point.
For the, and it's because the city put it in and didn't require any easements at the
And
time.
that was back in 2004?
Well,
Yeah,
back
because
around
they,
that time when the
yeah,
subdivision.
because they filled in a lot of ditches too at that
They
time
did,
too.
yeah.
Other-
And it was supposed to go up the whole row, but there was one owner wouldn't let them
Yeah.
put it in if the city didn't have an
You wanna
easement
just
to maintain it.
Ask that question, Councillor McCabe? Just ask.
Yeah, no, my question is just, and it's great, and I'm glad all this has been brought to light, but wouldn't it be if the city put this in 2004? Why is it the applicant's responsibility to go do that? Why aren't we registering our own work and
That was the
making sure?
question at the time and we asked it and nobody would answer. Like,
Yeah,
we
just-
don't even know if there's a plan showing where it is.
But you're absolutely right. It's instrumental in order to make sure that the stormwater is running the proper way. The city
Yeah.
put it in, they didn't register it. We
And
need
they
to go
don't-
back and fix this as a city.
And we were
This is facts.
told that if we get flooded out, we just go after the owner of the person in behind if they didn't clean out their grates, which
I think
There's-
that's something that we'll make note, that we'll have to make sure we follow up with and make sure we do it the right way, not at the applicant's expense, at our expense.
It's, again, I'm trying to clarify, what does this do to the process for John who wants to develop the property?
Well, and the question that I have too is that the other house is that it's in the back of your house as well, is it?
it runs behind, but it's on the property in behind. It's not on mine.
Okay, and what about the property to the left of you? Like coming down towards me, is it on their property?
They're all on, right on, sort of on the boundary, but on the properties on Barber Circle. They're not on the Oak Drive lots. That's why we don't know where it is down there.
So wouldn't all the
Because the
properties,
line takes
if
the
this is being affected to me
No,
this way,
John,
wouldn't it be
no,
fair?
he's raised a good point for all
Yes,
of
wouldn't
them.
it be fair that everybody would have to do the same thing in their deeds if this is acquired by me?
We asked this question many, many years ago.
Well, it's being asked in the public forum.
And see,
after-
part of the problem, if you look on that survey, the line between the lots, see how it takes a little curve instead of going straight to the Oak Drive extension? So that's why we're not sure if the pipe is on your property or if it's on the ones in behind, because of the way the line curves there.
Okay.
at the end.
We're going to ask David Gundrum, our manager of development. And John, this is, I think, a responsibility that falls back to the city. Something was done and it wasn't documented. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Okay. David?
Sure. Thank you, Your Worship. Ms. McCray, I appreciate your concerns. Obviously, it's been made known that there's a piece of city infrastructure that runs across the back of these lots in this area. It was installed at some point in time, but at that time, there was no legal protections put in place to guarantee access maintenance for future work. I think it's entirely reasonable that as part of this process, Planning Department will work with Public Works Department to verify the legal status, and if there is no protection, that protection should be put in place, not only across that portion of that pipe for the proponent's property, for JP's property, but for all the properties in this area, so that protection would be guaranteed across all properties in the future, so that we're not picking on JP in this case just because he's come forward, that this would apply equally to all properties, because not to push back at what you're saying, but the same argument could be levied against any and all property owners where this pipe runs through, if properties were to change hand in the future. So not to pick out on JP because of this development proposal, but that's something that we will look into, and that would be at the cost to the city to register an easement in this case to guarantee that protection. And to answer your worship's question, I'm pretty confident that that can be done such that it doesn't stall the process that JP is working through with the city right now. And just in addition to that, we typically require on building permits a grading and drainage plan for new development. And our zoning and development bylaw also stipulates within it that when development occurs, that development is not to cause impact to an adjacent property in terms of drainage concerns. So we can attach conditions to an approval on a future building permit that prior to occupancy, that a stamped grading and drainage plan would have to be provided by the proponent, stamped by a professional engineer, and that though that grading and drainage plan following construction would have to be certified by said engineer to ensure that there's no offsite impacts. So I think I've said enough to this
Good.
point.
No, no, we just stay up there, David. We might need you again.
Okay.
You're all right? No, no, you raise a good point because I know when that I was on council, that was the first wave of ditch infilling that took place out of Lower Malpeck Road and then went into the Sherwood area. So I know where you're coming from, and I think this has to be addressed. But when David mentioned about the drainage plan, that drainage plan, certified drainage plan, came in about 2004, 2005. So that drainage plan would detect that there would be a stormwater pipe there. However, it'll be our expense because we put it in and didn't tell anyone. But it shouldn't hold up the process. Right, David? Are you all right?
The gentleman who lives behind me came over one day because he looked at his window and, a quarter of his backyard was dug up and he said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, the city put a drainage pipe. Did you not know?" "No." And
When they do it at night?
no, he's a professor. He doesn't look at his backyard much. But on our letter that we submitted in September, there is a sketch there and we've shown you where the pipe goes and where it ends. Because as I say, it was intended to go up the street, but one property owner said they would not let the city put it in unless the city registered an easement and was responsible. And the city didn't want to do that, so it cut off there.
Well, through your worship, I appreciate the concerns, Ms. McCrae, but given that if there's no legal protection for that pipe for the city to access, that's certainly an issue for our Public Works Department to work on, and we'll make every effort to make that happen in response.
Lucky that you had the chair of the Standing Committee for Public Works, Councillor McCabe, sitting here too, so she'll follow up on it. Thank you, Councillor McCabe.
Yeah.
Good, Dave?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Is that all right? You're good with that?
Yep.
So, John, again, David, he just follows the process, correct? Sonia, can you just get that in the public record that you will follow the public, the process?
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
we will.
Thanks, Councillor McCabe. No, sorry, Sonia, thank you for that. Okay. Any other concerns? All right there, John, good. Okay. Well, I think we can end this meeting. Any questions? That's okay, no, okay. You're all right there, that's right. Okay. I just need a motion to adjourn. Oh, Councillor Duran, I forgot. Any questions or concerns?
No, I don't. Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Move to adjourn by Councillor Ramsey, second by Councillor Beck. All those in favor? Councillor Duran?
In favor. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
In the future, we don't need a room like this.